Well, friends, this is not a wonderful morning. I just got news from a really good friend of mine who lives somewhere in the US, and she lost her $1 million property to squatters who came over, took her house when she was not there. And these people absolutely trashed her home and stole virtually everything except for furniture, which they could not carry, and maybe a few electronics here and there. I mean, I've seen similar events on news, especially people who do B&B or people who travel a lot and often leave their houses unattended in the US. And so for me, it's never been on my radar until now that it's happened to this friend of mine. For a whole year, she could not gain access to her property. They changed the locks, took over the property, and unfortunately, the Western world, some of the Western parts of the world have insane laws, quota laws, that protect these criminals. And I'm going to tell you all about her story. But first, let me show you a few videos that I got from her. And I'm going to tag her in the comment section. If you want to see the whole story, you got to go to her channel, either her YouTube channel or her Facebook. She's posted a whole lot more than I have here. So let's look through this and let's talk about the risks we run for those of us who travel often. Thankfully for me, when I'm going out of California, there's always somebody staying in my house. But for people who do like travel nursing or people who have more than one home, you run the risk of people possessing your property, and unfortunately, you can't just walk in and kick them out. So I want us to watch these videos first, and then we'll discuss the details.
If you can see anything else that you think potentially has been used, like for their body fluids, I got some hair here. Stuff like that.
You're looking at the cabinets?
No, they stole everything. Like all my good shit. Like all these are all empty. I left them, like my mixer, my juicer, like everything. Thank God I have receipts, because everything was brand new in this house. You know? Like everything was brand new. Like kila kitu tunaenda kuchukua statement zangu. Like everything was brand, like they've stolen the good shit.
Did you already look for your
It's not there. That's the first thing. Okay. I sent yeah, the cops are here today. Wamekuja kuangalia hizi vitu. Hey, watu wameiba kila kitu kwa nyumba yangu. Yaani wameiba kila. I'm calling Johnson, he's not replying. Yaani wamebeba towels zote, sheets zote. But towels zote, sheets zote. TV zote. Hey, walimukumba kai kitu. Si kitu ya kuchuko. Wanajua mpaka kitu wamemuko.
So friends, before we unpack this disturbing event, as always, welcome to Wonder D's channel. If you have not subscribed to our channel, we gotta get us to 100,000. Just check if you're one of those folks who enjoy our content but has not subscribed, and add your name because we need your support. And then if you're one of those folks who is thinking about moving to Africa, as you know from my previous videos, I split my life between Long Beach, California, and Kisumu, Karating in Western Kenya. And my whole purpose right now is to help people move back. So we help people buy land, we help people buy property, build, because we have agents who find land for us. We have people who design, architects, we have builders and all that. So if you need help, my number is right here. Again, reach out. I'm only here briefly, but you know I'll be heading back to Kisumu Karating in a couple of days. So for now, I'm doing what I gotta do here, and then shortly we'll be back to paradise. Anyway, friends, I appreciate your continued support. Even if you're not a subscriber, we appreciate your presence as a regular viewer. So as you've seen in those videos, friends, this is an incredibly disturbing experience. Can you imagine buying such an expensive home? And then, and I won't tell you too much about my friend. You gotta go see what she posted, because this is all I have. Like many of my friends in diaspora, people travel for work. I've got a lot of my friends who are travel nurses. I've got people who are in different industries and often have to leave their homes for weeks on end. Now, based on the information I got, it looks like she was only gone for 2 weeks and was relying on a person that lives close by to go check. Because most of us, when we are gone, we often ask somebody to at least check in. But apparently, whoever was supposed to do that looks like something fell between the cracks. And so people have a way of finding out that a resident is not occupied. And that's why I say, whatever you do with your home in the US or in this Western world, you have to set it up in such a way that even if you're not there, somebody should not know that you're not there. The first sign that the homeowner is not there is the grass. Because I don't know if you can see here, like you see my front yard over here, I don't know if I can point right here, and the other side, this one right here. Those things are technically, or not technically, it is my duty to make sure that the grass is cut. And so these squatters have a way of seeing signs of a house that is not occupied. So when they drive around and they see your lawn is not maintained, and oftentimes it happens because you're gone and you pay somebody to do that and they don't do it. That has happened because there are people who cut our lawns. I do my lawns by myself when I'm here. But when I'm gone, I pay people to do that. There are cases where you pay somebody to cut your grass and they don't show up. And so the squatters will drive by, see that's the first sign. The second sign has to do with the mail. Most homes that I know have mailboxes outside. And when you're gone, they kind of pile up and fill up, and anybody passing by would definitely know that the owner must be gone for some time. Now, if you look behind me right here, over there, that is sort of my quote-unquote mailbox. So my mails are dropped through that Otuchi over there into the house, which works really well for me because you would never know that I'm not here because of the mail. I don't have a mailbox outside. So even when I'm gone, they just drop inside my house and nobody knows that. And even the way you leave your windows, there's ways you can put like ambient light. There are things you can do to give the impression that there's some kind of life in your garage. I mean, not in your home. Because the other thing too, when you park your car outside, most of us usually just park the cars in the driveway. A car that has been parked there that is not moving for a while is very visible. If you can, you want to leave your car in the garage, locked. And then make sure you can rely on somebody to make sure they check every couple of days. My neighbor next door is a wonderful, wonderful neighbor. An old man, he's in his 70s. He comes to my house twice a day when I'm gone. Even when Minodidi is here, he's actually the one. When I'm gone, he takes out my trash, helps Minodidi with that. He walks around my house twice a day. I've got wonderful, wonderful old white gentleman who does that. Without that, it's very easy for them to figure out that your house is unoccupied. So once they do that, it does not matter if you have security cameras or, like in this case, my friend actually has a security system, has cameras. This squatter simply came in, disabled all of that, changed the locks so they couldn't come in. And once they do that, in America, the squatter laws are insane. And I've seen the same thing too in Europe. Once they get in, you just can't go and kick them out. You have to go to court, file paperwork, get documentation. It's a very lengthy process and very costly. Like in this case, the last time she was in her house was last year, November. That was 2024 November. And this is 2025 November. A whole year. She couldn't get access to her house. And so she actually turned off the water, turned off the light, because I mean, you can turn off the utilities. Yeah. So what they simply did, they were actually cooking using, I think, charcoal or wood in her house and outside. They really trashed her house. So they would just go shower elsewhere because there was no water and then come back. Took everything she owns, even her personal documents, her clothes. The only things they have are things they could not fit into their car because they had a small car. So things like huge TVs, refrigerator, and furniture could not fit in her car. But everything else that could fit in, very expensive kitchen appliances, wiped out all of that. I've seen similar events happen, especially people who run B&Bs or short rental properties, where somebody comes in and then just never leaves. Eventually, they'll get kicked out, but It's very difficult. And if you don't live in the Western world, you might ask why. There are laws that are designed to protect people, because let's say I live with my wife and she's not happy with me. She can just come and decide, hey, out of my house, throws me out. Things like that happen. So there are laws that were well intended to protect people who are meant to be there. But unfortunately, the same laws are being used against people who own property. And so if you have to, I'm told, because I'm looking at the laws in Arizona here, it looks like they need to possess your property openly for a period of time, maintain exclusive possession, have it for like continuously for some time, and then it looks like to do that, oh my God, I mean, the processes required just to get these guys out of your property is insane. So this is one of the many reasons why I tell you that Africa and Kenya is wonderful. I can promise you, you would never get away with something like this. A squatter would never get away with something like this. In fact, unfortunately, the opposite is true, where landlords could absolutely just kick you out in Kenya. There are laws to protect you, but in Kenya, money can pretty much do anything. I've seen cases where in Kenya, landlords just come in and remove the entire roof when you have a tenant who is not paying and is not living. So the landlord just comes in and removes the entire roofs, removes the doors, and makes the property uninhabitable. If you did that here in the US, you'd be in jail. Even when the property is yours. Like in this case, if my friend went and kicked them out, she would be in jail. And the property is hers. So we have very, very insane laws in the US that are meant to protect people, but oftentimes the same laws are used for the exact opposite. So my advice is, if you are thinking of a split life like my life, where you are both in Long Beach or both in diaspora and in Kenya, you have to be thoughtful about what you're going to do with the properties you own in diaspora. So whatever you do, make sure that your house is continuously monitored, because all it takes is just a couple of days of nobody checking and they're in, if you ever find yourself in that spot. So make sure your house is continuously monitored, and if at all possible, you want to actually hire professionals and pay professionals to do that. Because unfortunately, sometimes we want to rely on our friends, but people are busy. People are busy. They might forget to check a few days. It doesn't mean they're bad. You might agree with a friend or a neighbor to check, but life happens. Between work, kids, and all that, people are busy in diaspora. And if they forget for maybe in this case, I think the person who was supposed to check her home forgot to check maybe for 2 weeks. And that's all it took. A whole year. So friends, thankfully, finally she's gained access to her property. Those guys are out. Of course, they'll be pursued legally. But the sad bit of it is people who do this almost do it as a profession. This is all they do. They occupy one property. As soon as they're kicked out, they move on to the next. And they do it over and over and over again. You'd never get away with this kind of nonsense in Kenya. Never. So friends, I hope you take care out there as you prepare to join us in the village. Please be very thoughtful and careful as to how you take care of your property when you're out of the country. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next. Bye.